All right, guys. So we're picking up on the notes. We did day one on Friday. Thursday we had started day two. Like I know I did these way out of order. Sorry. So we're going past like wherever the GCF stuff was. We're right after that. We are not on day three. We're still in day two. Yeah, we're still in day two. So you should have done the whole GCF stuff. We've done all of that. It's right after the GCFs. It says reminder of signs, and it's got Rapunzel on there. All right, so we are continuing to work on factoring. Yay! Anybody else love factoring? Like, I think it's fun. No? One? Only one person loves them. You don't hate it, I'll take that. All right, just a reminder, guys, because if you're signs and you don't understand the sign rules, you're in a whole world of trouble, okay? So a reminder, if your last one is positive, this is what you look at for signs, the last one, because how do you multiply to get a positive number? You multiply two positives or two negatives. So they're going to be the same, right? Both plus, both minus. If your last one's negative, how do you multiply to get a negative number? A positive and negative. They're going to be opposite signs. Okay? So just a reminder of that. So for today, we're only going to do a few examples together. I'm going to give you guys some time to work because we're pulling together the GCF that we worked on last Thursday and just factoring that we did on Friday. We're going to kind of pull those together. If you guys remember your flow chart, right underneath factoring, right, it's that one color paper I gave you, right? Right underneath factor, the next thing said GCF. It says to do a GCF. So you want to look for that every time. Will there always be one? No, there won't always be one. If there's not, great, just move on to the next thing. But if there's a GCF, you want to take it out. Your numbers get smaller, and that list of options gets smaller. So on this first problem, do we have a GCF? 2. Okay, if you have a GCF, take it out. All right, so I can take out a 2. Okay, so if I'm dividing out a 2, what do we have left? 4x squared. Thank you. Making sure we're still awake today, guys. Now, if you hear me say to you, you forgot your baby brother, I will say that a lot. You forgot your baby brother. I'm referring to your GCF because here's what students do. They take it out and they sit him down here just like they're supposed to. And then in the very next line, they're like, okay, I need to factor this now, right? And they're going to factor this. And they leave him here. No, you have to bring him with you. Mom asked you to watch your baby brother. You cannot just leave him at the store when you leave. You have to take him with you. All right? Look at you guys. You're like, I ain't taking him with me. I say that, though, because he's that annoying thing that just, like, tags along with you, right? Right? Yeah. But does he have an effect on my math that's going on here? No. When I'm checking these, I'm trying to get it to look like this. Okay? He is still important. If you do not bring him down in your final answer, you will lose a point every single time. You need him. Because without him, you can never get back to the original problem. Okay? So when I'm like, you forgot your baby brother, or I'm like, your mom is really mad at you, it means you forgot your GCF. Okay? That's what I'm referring to, because I like to have stupid ways to remember things, right? That's your baby brother, your GCF. Don't forget him. All right, let's talk about signs. My last one is negative. So what are my signs? They're opposite, meaning one's a plus, one's a minus. All right, what are my options for A? Now, when I'm talking A, I'm looking at this right here. 1 and 4, 2 and 2. And options for C, 1 and 3. All right, do you want to go 1 and 4 or 2 and 2? 2 and 2? All right, so 2x and 2x. I go with whatever's yelled out at me. You want to go 1 and 3 or 3 and 1? 3 and 1. All right, should I just like put it in and go, yep, I'm done? No, you better not be doing that. You guys can check every answer. All right, so if I multiply 2x times 2x, 4x squared, 2x times negative 1, negative 2x, 3 times 2x, and 3 times negative 1. So the part I'm really checking here, does negative 2x plus 6x make a negative 11x? No, it doesn't. Now, if I take the 1 and 3 and flip them, will that really help me in this case? No, because they're both 2's. It doesn't matter. All right, so that means the 2 and 2, not a good choice. All right, so my other choice then is 1 and 4. You want to go 1 and 4 in that order? Or 4 and 1? 4 and 1? So if I go 4x and 1x, if we multiply, 2x, or I'm sorry, 4x times 1x is 4x squared. 4x times negative 1, negative 4x. 3 times 1x, 3x. And 3 times negative 1, negative 3. Did that work? No. Flipping my signs is, instead of this being negative 1x, that would make it a positive 1x. Let's flip the 1 and the 3. Do you guys remember which numbers I told you I never flip? Yeah, the first ones. I will never flip this as 1 and 4. I just stay consistent, plug in those C numbers. If that doesn't work, flip the C. If that doesn't work, get rid of them, try the next ones. Okay? Now, you guys know I'm lazy, right? I've told you that all the time. I'm a lazy mathematician. If I can make my life easier, I will. Here's where I make my life easier. Instead of checking the full distribution, what's really the only part I'm really checking? The middle. So inside, what's 1x? 1 times 1x? It is. That's 1x. And then check your outside. 4x times negative 3? It's negative 12x. Does that make negative 11x? Yes. See how much faster that is to check? Inside, outside. And that worked. So my final factored answer, make sure you're actually putting a box around the actual answer. 2 out in front, 4x plus 1, and an x minus 3. Yes, you can. All right, so have some fun with your smiley faces. But. All right, let's try the next one. First thing you always look for is what? GCF. Always look for the GCF. In this case, is there one? A 4. Yeah, let's take out a 4. So if I take out a 4, won't be long, and I'm going to stop writing that divide underneath there, just so you know that's going to be coming. If I divide everything by 4, what do I have left? Minus what? Minus 3. So right now, when I'm going to check things, will I ever look back at that first problem? No. Right. Now, what happens a lot of students do is they're like, okay, I'm going to factor this further, and they set this up, and it looks great, and then they go to check this, and then they're trying to get a 4x in the middle. And they're like, nothing works. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to, because you took out the 4 right here. So when you're checking, I'm going back to this line that I'm trying to get that middle number. Okay? So just be careful you're not going back up too high. All right? Don't forget your baby brother hanging out in front. You got him. You cannot give him away. All right. Last one's negative. What are your signs? Opposite, meaning one's a plus, one's a minus. Options for A? Options for C? Hey, these are not many options. I like this. All right, so I have 1x and 2x. Do you want to go 1 and 3 or 3 and 1? All right. If you know without a shadow of a doubt what the answer is, don't say anything. Only because part of this issue is getting people to learn how to go through the guess and check, you know what I'm saying? So if I go 1 and 3, I can check just inside, outside. So that gives me 2x. Outside gives me negative 3x, and that's negative 1x. Is that what I wanted? That's what I wanted. So this is my factored answer. Some of you were shaking your head no to me. Were you trying to get this? I don't want that. I took out baby brother. I made my number smaller. I'm trying to get back to here. How do we get back to the top? If I would distribute baby brother back, then I go back to the top. All right, so this does give me the original problem. If you multiply these two together and then distribute the baby brother 4 back through, you'll end up at the top. Okay, just but when you're checking these, you're going back to always the line right above where you were. Okay? All right. Is there a GCF in that one? Maybe. Take out a 2. All right, so if I take out a 2, now some of you are probably like, wait, is there something bigger? Take out what you think, and then look at what you got left. If there's still a GCF sitting in it after you take it out, then yeah, there's something bigger. Okay? So if I take out a 2, we're left with 2x squared minus 11x plus 15. You guys okay? You with me? You know. I can see you're physically here. All right, so let's talk signs. My last one is positive. So are they both plus or both minus? They're both minus, because if I don't put minuses in there, I'm never going to get negative 11. So they're both minus. Options for A, 1 and 2. Options for C, 1 and 15, 3 and 5. There we go. We're getting there. All right, so options for A is easy. I have 1 and 2. So 1x and 2x. 1 and 15 or 3 and 5? 3 and 5? So 3 and 5. All right, we're going to check. Inside gives me negative 6x. Outside gives me negative 5x. And that makes negative 11x. Did it give me what I wanted? Yes, guys, right here. If you need to, just cross that whole thing off so you don't accidentally look at it again. Okay? Go to the line right above where you are. I want here. So is this a good answer? 100% correct? I'm good to go. Don't forget baby brother. Cannot tell you how many people are going to forget your baby brother and your mom's going to be super mad at you. Okay? Don't lose him. I was the baby of the family, so maybe I was the menace. All right, so next problem. Oh, that thing looks ugly. What's the first thing you always look for? GCF. Do I have one? I always look for one because my numbers, those are kind of big numbers. 3x? I could take an x from them all? Yeah. So 3x. All right, so taking out a 3x, what do we have left? 7x squared minus 8x. This is painful, you guys. That's 12. So in theory, if it helps you, cross that out so you don't try to go back to the wrong number. And that's what's frustrating with students, like, none of this works. I'm like, oh my gosh, you had the right answer sitting right there. Like, you just didn't see it. All right, when I factor, what are my signs? Plus and minus, right? Last one's negative, so one's plus, one's minus. Options for A, 1 and 7. Options for C, 3 and 4. Now, it's still a lot of choices, but think about what you were at. You were at a 36. 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. There's a lot more choices. So I've narrowed that list down by taking out my GCF. Right? Don't forget baby brother hanging out in front. All right. A is just 1 and 7, so 1x and 7x. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 2 and 6. And again, we check. Sometimes we get lucky, sometimes we don't. So that gives me 14x minus 6x. That's 8x. How do we do? Switch my signs. My number's right. I got the 8x, but my sign's wrong. That just means I need to flip my signs. Because then that flips all of these, and I'm good. So the actual factored answer I'm looking for, you put a box around this on your paper. Right? That is the thing, that if I would multiply it all back together, I would end up where I started. Talk to me. How we feeling? Most of you got a pretty good look. A couple of you are looking a little pained right now. All right, let's try one last problem. Here we go. On your own. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk through this, make sure we're okay. Was there a GCF? Yes, what was it? 2x. So if you take out the 2x, you should have had 3x squared plus 7x minus 20. Should have been your first step. Pull up that GCF. Okay. Because the other thing I want to point out and draw your attention to, everything that we are factoring, if you guys notice, has been x squared, then an x, then a number. We talked about that last week. Lexi, put that away. Okay, so I want to make sure that you're aware of that. If I give you something that I ask you to factor, and it's not x squared, x, and number, then the only thing you could possibly do is take out a GCF. Okay? If this was an x cubed sitting here, even after I took out my GCF, I'd be done. Because when we're factoring things, it's always like x times x, which is giving you the x squared. So every time we're just kind of splitting those x's apart. So I want to make sure that we're aware of that you can't have like an x cubed sitting here. Now, I will teach you other ways to factor as the semester goes on that are not x squared, x, and number. But in this chapter, they are x squares. Okay? Not until next chapter where we start talking about other stuff. All right, from here, set up my parentheses. My last one is negative, so it is plus minus. If you mess up your signs, it is very hard to get this to work. Don't forget your 2x. Options for A is just 1 and 3. Options for C, you got 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. So 1x and 3x. Did we find 1 and 20, 2 and 10, or 4 and 5 to be helpful? 4 and 5? So if I go 4 and 5. Now, the question came up, why are you only checking the inner and outer? Why did I switch and just check those? Those are the middle ones that I'm trying to make sure work out. Can you still fully distribute this? Yes. You fully distribute, you'll end up with the 3x squared and the 20 on your ends. Okay? So if you are more comfortable, by all means, fully distribute. I'm just lazy, so I check inner and outer. So inner gives me 12x. Outer gives me negative 5x, which is a positive 7x. And I was trying to get a positive 7x, so I know this works. Now, if you had 2x, and then you had 3x minus 5, and then the x plus 4, these were switched, would that be okay? Meaning if I had 2x, and then 3x minus 5, and x plus 4. Is that okay? Yes, because the entire group is the same. If this was a minus and that was a plus, that's different. That would flip your signs and make that negative 7x. Okay? Should be. Should be. Yep, it should be. Yep. All right, other questions on this?